WDHA's Reconnect with Rockers. It has been, I think, 2 years since I connected with this gentleman, and it feels like just yesterday. I am talking to Claudio Sanchez from Coheed and Cambria. We hung out and partied at the Brews with the band, the Jersey Girl Brewing with you and the band. What a dynamite event. Anytime I play Coheed and I mention that, bam, I've got listeners like, when are we doing another? When are we doing another? So that is my last memory of you, and it's wonderful to see you after all this time.
Oh, same here. Thank you, Terry. That's nice.
So let's talk, first of all, gosh, where do I start? Where do I start? I want to start with Shoulders. As soon as I heard it, I was like, wow. Monster hooks. Every bit of that song is a hook after hook after hook. Now, when you guys are sort of the unboxable band, everybody wants to put you in a box. Mm-hmm. But, you know, when I think of bands that sort of have that progressive feel, I don't necessarily always think of hooks in songs, but Coheed always gives me those big chunky hooks. So talk to me a little bit about Shoulders and, you know, your great way of creating those songwriting hooks.
All right. Well, Shoulders is definitely a different song for Coheed, but that's the thing is Coheed likes to sort of stretch and try its hand at all sorts of stuff. But for a while, I've been working on something like Shoulders, but I just never found it was the right time to bring something like that out. And it wasn't until we started working with Johnny Minardi over at Roadrunner that you know, I started to kind of test myself a little bit, and that's where Shoulders kind of came out. And you know, I'm a big fan of Jimi Hendrix. There's a big guitar player for me growing up, and in a way, I almost feel like Shoulders is a love letter to Hendrix in a way, just because of that whole progression that happens in, you know, just the guitar playing basically. But yeah, you know, and then. My thing with those songs sometimes, especially one like Shoulders, is like, how do I get into a chorus that makes sense for Coheed? Because, you know, it definitely plays in that like classic rock world. But normally, from my experience, a song like that would usually stay in that kind of groove going into a chorus. Like, like the chorus is just an extension of the verse. That's how it feels sometimes to me. But when I came up with the chorus, like I knew instantly, like this made sense for Coheed now, today. Like Coheed doing like sort of one of those retro-y, neoclassic kind of rock tunes, but with that Coheed sort of chorus that has a hook that can stamp, you know, on the consciousness, if that makes any sense.
Well, the hooks are, your voice provides the hooks for me in Coheed songs. It's right. You know, because we've got that big giant sound, you know, that incredible wall of musicianship and wall of sound. And then when you come in, that's where the song starts to travel for me and take the journey. You guys are storytellers. We talk to some bands that, you know, come out and they bash and they do what they do and they're great live bands. And then you've got bands that are more drawn into the visual and drawn into storytellers. That's Coheed and Cambria. There are people that listen for the music, people that listen for the music and the lifestyle, people that are all about the music and the lifestyle and the comics. So there's so many layers to the band, but I mean, I think your vocals for me have always really provided those giant chunky hooks.
All right. Well, cool. I mean, a lot of that I think has to do with just caring about song. I mean, you know, coming up, that's kind of why Coheed has like, you know, long songs in its discography, is because I was learning how to write music. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and it took me 7 minutes to like get my message across. And you know, I think as I get older, I start to understand more of the craft and songs and how to get that message out there quicker. And that's why songs are sometimes shrinking. Though I have not abandoned the 8-9 minuters, because I just, you know.
No, you can't. You can't. That's people want to take that journey. You know, Absolutely. Shoulders is a different song for you, but people want to take the journey. They want to start out at one point and go. And I think that that's the beauty of Coheed, because it means so much to the fans, which I want to talk about too, for so many different reasons. Because, you know, I'm not asking you like, what was the inspiration for Shoulders or what, because songs are what people want to make them.
Absolutely.
And I think when they have those great visual Coheed songs, it means something different to everybody listening to the song. And that's why they're so connected to the music. Your fan base is one of those crazy fan bases. Like I call myself a Rush geek because I'm one of the few women, like I grew up on Rush. I'm a Rush geek and I, you know, everything's about Rush. My book isn't here right now. I usually have my book over here, but you know, you guys have that kind of a fan base. I remember when we were contesting Bruce with the band and I'm like, these people live in other states. And I remember emailing a few of them and they were like, no, well, if we win, we're coming in for this. Like the fan base is so crazy. I stood behind you guys and I've been to so many Coheed shows since 2002, 3, 4. And I see the people singing every word back. And there's almost points in the song where, you know, thank God you're a monster vocalist because they're singing over you, you know, Claudio. And I can see the happiness in their faces. And that's like the Coheed fan base. So talk to me a little bit about those people. And when did you realize our fan base is probably a little different than the average band?
I think a lot of it has to do with, well, the singing along for sure. That, you know, there's nothing quite like that when the band stops and it gets, the vocals are then taken over by the audience. Like, you know, but I think a lot of it might have to do with seeing how the books do. Like the books aren't, you know, the books aren't like necessary. You don't need to get into that to care about the band. But I feel like as time goes on, like we keep selling these books. Like it's just, you're starting to see like the audience wants more than just the music. They want every crevice, every avenue of what we produce, whether it's like the solo projects or the comics, the toys, the coffee. You know, we're kind of doing a little bit of a Kiss thing here.
Yeah, no, I love it. And the coffee is great, by the way. The coffee's fantastic. It's so great. I had a listener give me the coffee and I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. Coffee, by the way, sold on your website too. But so fantastic. But you're right. And you should do that because when people want it and they feel it and it's a part of them, there's no reason why you shouldn't do that. Well, when do you know too that it's time to do something different? It's time to say, you know what, now it's time to let the Amory Wars go. Which also means something different to everybody sort of finds, you know, everybody's like, no, this means that. No, you're wrong. This means that. So when do you know when to make those turns? When, you know, because sometimes it's easy to sort of rest on your laurels and do what you've been doing. And, you know, you guys have been a band that's been pretty fearless in taking chances. So when do you know when it's time to turn a corner?
It all depends. Like for me, like for the longest time, a lot of these songs are very much rooted in my personal experience, who I am as a person and growing. I then just take that and kind of transform it into, you know, into the comics. So in a way I get to kind of tell both my story, but also a piece of fiction at the same time, if that makes any sense. But I know it when it's something really monumental. Like when we did the Color Before the Sun record and my son was about to be born. Like that was a moment where I thought, this shouldn't be clouded by something not real. Like this is a moment I should cherish and champion, tribute this on a record. And that way, when I go back to that album, it will remind me of how important those feelings were, waiting for my son to be born. So, you know, but I think Coheed is like, because of our fan base, we've also afforded ourselves the luxury to kind of go outside of the box whenever we sort of choose. Like the thing that we did with Rick Springfield, that was kind of a, you know, little joke.
I was going to ask you about that. That was fantastic. Fantastic. I had to look at it 3 times to go, wait a minute, am I seeing the right thing in print here? Am I seeing Rick is such a cool guy anyway, and he so got it and loved it. So, and it's such a great song. Like a great song is a great song is a great song is a great song. So to take something like that and to then make it your own and take it down a whole different, you know, down a whole different road is wild. And it was so well received by the fans. But that has been for you guys. Yeah. What made you, you know, decide, let's take Jesse's Girl and do it, our own kind of take on it.
Well, so
Jesse's Girl, the future Jesse's Girl.
Yeah. Well, we were in the studio, because most of the time when I write music, I usually do it like alone. Like that's where I feel I'm my most creative, is like when the door is closed. But I wanted to try a session with the band and just see what we could come up with, together. And we did this session up in Woodstock, New York, and we came up with a few things, but nothing quite as substantial as this Jesse's Girl sort of song. And the reason that came about is we were playing this riff that sounded like an old Coheed tune, and I just happened to start singing just gibberish, and Jesse's Girl came out in the gibberish. And then it got me thinking, it's like, well, we're here now almost 20 years. Like, we could do really whatever we want. It's something as silly as like doing a sequel of Jesse's Girl, I think kind of makes sense for a band like Coheed and Cambria. So I proposed it to the band as like maybe a potential thing we could do in the future. Like, hey, maybe we'll do a record of like sequels of other people's songs, why not? But anyway, so we had the song laying around. I took it home. I worked on the words and, just made it a tune basically. And the pandemic happened and it was just kind of sitting around, and we thought, well, why not reach out to Rick and see if we can legitimize this and have something for this moment in time. And we did, and he was really receptive so much that he participated in the video as well as the song.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, so, and
it made people happy. That was like a time where people needed something bright. We needed a bright spot. And it was one of those that kind of snapped our heads around, like, wait a minute, Coheed and Cambria and Rick Springfield? Yeah. This is wild. And it was really, really cool and brave and cool and fun and just, what we would expect from the band. By the way, I want to let everybody know, Sunday night, PNC Bank Arts Center, you guys have a show here in New Jersey with the U. So looking forward to seeing you guys. And now this is going to be part of the live stream too, because you guys are doing these like Veeps live streams. As part of, is it select dates, Claudio, on this tour?
It's actually just this one, just the PNC.
Wow, just the PNC show. Wow, which is so awesome. Why did you guys decide to do that?
I think because Jersey is kind of a second home. I mean, Travis is from New Jersey. I'm from New York, right on the border. It's like, it just feels like a hometown show. So I think we wanted that. We wanted to feel the comfort of being home.
I love that. I love that idea. And you guys are going to be part of this cruise coming up this fall, which was supposed to happen, I think, in 2020. Is it the SS Never Ender or something? And you guys are going to be out on this. And here's what I love. You guys are also going to be performing and doing the whole Q&A thing. And for those of you who have not been at a Q&A with Coheed, it's wild. People feel they know more about you than you know about you. Do you ever have people try to tell you your shit?
Yes, they probably do know more than me, Terrie.
Yeah. I mean, they're literally like in the audience going, no. I got this figured out. No. I've got. They'll tell you things, and you'll be like, because I've witnessed these experiences. And Claudia will be like, I don't know if no, that did happen. That absolutely did happen. Like, that's how entrenched in everything that you guys do they are. So talk to me a little bit about the cruise and how can people cruise with you guys? Yeah,
so the cruise, I'm not sure if there's any available. I mean, there may be now with I'm sure that people abroad were trying to come over, and so maybe some rooms have opened up. But last I realized it, or last I knew, it was sold out. But yeah, it's really just a cruise that we curate. There will be 2 performances by the band, maybe some acoustic things, a few side project performances, as well as other artists. We have a bunch of Amory Wars sort of curated events like that we're going to have around the ship. My wife is doing like a Q&A about, writing.
Because she's been a big part of the whole experience for people. Absolutely. So yeah, absolutely. 100%.
So, and I feel like there's a few other things. I mean, I'm still, because it got not canceled, but postponed. I I mean, honestly, I thought it was going to be postponed now, but it's not. And so there's just a bunch of things. I'll probably know more right before I get on the boat.
That's going to be so fun. It's like literally like your very own Star Wars convention. Like it really
totally is.
That's exactly what it is. And people are going to be so jazzed up, and it's got to feel so great. It was funny because I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, oh, I've been a Coheed fan for 10 years. And I'm like, no, I've been a Coheed fan for friggin' 19 years. Yeah. Like it's not, time just goes by so fast. 20 years. Does it feel like 20? Does it feel like 2? Does it feel like 100? What does it feel like for you guys?
I don't know. Like the other day we played Cleveland, and I felt like I was doing things I'd never done before, wow. Like on the stage. And I feel like it felt like a brand new band in a weird sort of way. Like, I don't know. I guess it's different. Like, yeah, sure. The other night it felt like the beginning and I was excited and running all around, but I'm sure like ask me that in like 2 years after our like 2-year hiatus because of, this global pandemic. And I might be like, yeah, it feels like forever. I'm dying out here. Yeah. But I've been super positive on this run. It's been a lot of fun. Everybody's been super energized, and I don't know, maybe the time off was good. I'm not sure.
I think people getting back to are just so much more appreciative too. We took things for granted you take things for granted for so long. You go out to a show and you just, and it just feels so good for so many people to be back and listening to great music. And I've got to say, music has powered us through this pandemic. It has powered rock fans. I've been on the air every day. I've never seen the fans more loyal and wanting to get engaged with artists. That's why we do this feature. And I kind of like it because then I don't have to be knocking on dressing room doors on show day. And, so it's very nice to be able to sit and have an extended conversation with you. You're where you are, I'm where I am, and still be able to come out to the show and see you. So, I think this has been so helpful to be able to just kind of all connect through music at a time where, every day situations were changing for people. We thought we were going to be in lockdown for 3 weeks, a month, and it turned into 6, and it turned into a year, then it turned into we're back, and now we're not exactly back. And, it's just been so wild. It's been a wild ride for everyone.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and especially our musical community. And it's always a pleasure to see you and connect with you. You're always so much fun and you have so much to say. I could fill like 5 hours just talking about everything with you. Claudio Sanchez from Coheed and Cambria, thank you so much for reconnecting with me. And congratulations on, I think I told you, one of the most dynamite rock tracks. One of my favorite of the year so far. It's just a monster.
Oh, it's
an earworm, like as soon as I play it and hear it, it's you're going out. It just stays with me all day.
Oh,
all
so cool.
day. Your job is done, my friend.
Yeah.
It's still the greatest hair.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I was watching some Kiss documentaries. They all had pretty good hair. I mean, I think I got Kiss hair.
I don't even know if it's real. Yours is the best. Yours is the greatest. I've been doing this a long time. I've seen a lot of hair. Numero uno for you. Right. Best beard, Billy Gibbons and Zakk Wylde. You've got best hair.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you,
and I love you. It's so good to see you.
Good to see you too.
We'll see you at PNC. Hey.
All right. Have fun.
Yay! DHA's Reconnect with Rockers is powered by Karis Lock Company, your full-service locksmith, and Dover Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram on Route 46 in Rockaway. Online at doverdodge.com.